Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. We're here, the grand finals. We've been able to make it a best of 5 series. CDEC Gaming facing off against Newbee. These two faced off against each other in the upper bracket finals just 2 short days ago, and now we're going to have to take it to the final extent. A best of 5. I'm Lyrical, joined as well by Eosin. How are you doing? You excited about this matchup?
I mean, yeah, dude. This was the matchup in the upper bracket, and we saw it. It went to 2-1, and then I was like, you know what? We're gonna see this again, and here we are, CDEC versus Newbee grand finals.
I'm so hyped up for this. A lot of backstory for these two teams. We can talk a little bit about it as the match goes on, but I think one of the more interesting things. Well, all right. First of all, I'd like your opinion. Are you thinking that Newbee's coming in here the favorite? That's where I'm coming from. Do you see it differently?
I would still favor Newbee over CDEC, but I mentioned it before. If there's any team who's going to be able to take games off of Newbee, it's this team.
Yeah, and
so my prediction for this is 3-1, but anything can happen.
Okay, and I would kind of agree. They seem like they're really on a tear right now. Newbee, after coming off of that MDL second place, they're hungry. Like sometimes when you win a whole LAN, you sometimes become a little bit lackluster about your play afterwards, but you come in second, you're still hungry for that win. You want to take it. Also, another interesting thing about this, currently on the China leaderboards, Newbee have 2 of the top 4 MMR players in China. SCCC at 9,086 currently, and the highest person on the team for CDEC is June, who is at 8,066. So a full 1,000 MMR ahead of CDEC Gaming. I don't know how much really that matters nowadays. Do you think that 1,000 MMR matters at that high of a level?
10 seconds remaining.
I feel like a lot of people disagree. I think it matters to some extent, but not enough to impact the team.
Okay, yeah, and that's the thing, is that it really comes down to like team synergy is the most important thing. But we're going to be seeing another little bit of a repeat here. Drow Ranger taken first phase for Newbee. They took this whenever they got an opportunity to, but CDEC Gaming seemed like they have an idea of how to deal with it. Slardar Lifestealer insta-picked after that Drow, and this leads us to the KP Faceless Voy. What do you think about that Slardar and Lifestealer combo? Is that something that's just so scary you don't even have to worry about the Drow Ranger?
I mean, it's super effective, but unfortunately for CDEC, they're not playing the same team. I mean, I watched them run this against ehome, and Sylar just couldn't get anything done. He just got completely shut down by this combo. But I feel like Newbee have a better understanding of how to deal with it. I think that they'll be able to protect the Drow, and the Drow will have a much larger impact in this game.
Yeah, I'm feeling the similar type of way about that as well. Like, there were a couple moments where in that ehome game it felt like they were a little bit off kilter. Likewise, though, I mean, if they were watching, they should know what to expect, and obviously it's pretty apparent what they want to try and run. But maybe they also could get a little bit cavalier and then punished for it. I remember when we were watching and we were casting the previous series between these two, Naga Siren was a very impactful here, and we are going to see that banned out now. But one of the other things that stuck out to me was KP kept on hiding in the trees along the bottom lane, and he would just stay there for minutes at a time and then wait for somebody to walk by, and he would chrono them and they'd find a kill.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if we managed to see this kind of playstyle come out again. It just kind of depends on the flow of the game. If they're steamrolling, he has nothing to be afraid of. But game's fairly even, we're going to see KP in the trees for quite some time.
And I am really excited. I mean, it's a little bit weird to talk about being excited seeing somebody just hang out in the trees, but there's a lot of tension that builds up there. You see the chronosphere just leveled out finally, and they burst him down. Also, no Kunkka has been seen as of yet. Is that something that either team would think about going for? Like, is it just not really worth it against the Lifestealer who can just rage off the X?
5 seconds remaining.
I mean, it's still probably worth it. They can definitely run it, but it's a Drow lineup. They might have something else in mind. We'll just have to see what they decide on picking.
Well, ET is going to be the first pick in the second phase after the Coddle was banned. Another hero that made a huge impact in that previous series. The Blinding Light change to me has just been so crazy for what it's capable of, doing in the midst of a team fight, particularly when it's the strong right-click damage dealers. And Drow Ranger certainly is that For Newbee, is there anything that you'd really like to see here? I mean, Storm Spirit's already been banned out, but there's
5
also the
seconds
Medusa. Is that a
remaining.
possibility?
I mean, Medusa would pretty much make their lineup
Reserve time.
like identical to eHome's because they had Drow and they had Void, right? And then they had Medusa. They could not protect anyone with that lineup. Like
No.
Void was getting picked off, Drow was getting picked off. This is almost so far almost exactly the same as that matchup. And I don't know, maybe CDC are just super confident in handling the Drow lineup, and Newbee are just not backing down.
No, I guess so. Newbee still waiting a long time for their picks. I feel like there's a lot of obviously thought that goes into these drafts, but more importantly, just a lot of history between these two teams. June, September, they have both played for a lot of different organizations. I believe that June was mainly a CDEC Avengers pickup previously. But September played against Newbee a lot leading up to TI, but then of course he had the visa issues and wasn't able to make it to that final event. And Newbee on the other side, they've just played against each other a lot in back in China. But Lion is going to be the third round pick. We haven't seen a lot of this guy recently, but he's just, I mean, no changes, just hasn't been around a ton.
Oh,
Newbee's
silencer pickup.
turn
I feel like
to
the
pick.
silencer is something they just really like to run. It's like one of the greatest follow-ups to an initiation. So if they infest someone and start our blink crushes and they global, I think I've mentioned it time and time
10
again,
seconds
until people
remaining.
get items to remove that global silence, there's absolutely nothing you can do in the early game.
5 seconds
And I think
remaining.
CDEC is just the kind of team that plays so aggressively that they hope to snowball out of control
Reserve
in the early
time.
game.
Enchantress.
Wow. And Newbee, they're going to go for an old classic. It's the
team
Kaka Enchantress. They don't have Chuan on his team, but Spirit still lives on as that line was picked up. Interesting. When they played this previously, it tended to be an aggressive jungle from the Enchantress. Do you think that there's
10
any
seconds
semblance to the
remaining.
idea that you could run like an offlane Enchantress with the Drow Ranger aura? Is that something
5
that would be...
seconds remaining.
I guess they wouldn't do that since Kaka's playing, or since KP's probably playing the Void.
Newbee's
Yeah,
turn to
I don't think
pick.
it's going to happen because, one, you're against a Life Stealer, and Life Stealer just annihilates Enchantress. Like, one of the best heroes to kill off Enchantress. If not Life Stealer, like, Clinks is the second one. So most likely this is going to
10
be a
seconds
support
remaining.
Enchantress. She's going to try her best to make as much things happen in the early game. Just play super
5
aggressively.
seconds remaining.
I guess that maybe trying to come in under the gun of that Life Stealer getting so
Reserve
big that he
time.
can just dismantle her. Because like you're saying, Rage is great at being able to kill her once you start to get that farm up, but maybe before he gets too many items, she can get stuff done. It does definitely feel like they want to try and, you know, maximize this Drow Ranger potential. They've got to have the creeps there to tank up. Do you think that they can take down that offlane tower really early here?
10 seconds remaining.
You're talking about for Newbee?
Yeah.
Dire
I don't
team
think
pick.
so. I think CDEC is going to be pretty on top of the protecting their towers at least for the first 10 minutes or so. I don't think we're going to see a tower go down until at least around 10 minutes.
OD is going to be the last pick now for Newbee.
10
SC
seconds
specialty and a really popular hero across the meta. They ban out
5
the sniper
seconds
so they don't have to
remaining.
contend with that. I mean, getting OD in the last phase, that's got to be tremendous value, right?
Reserve time.
It's actually kind of interesting to see. I mean, we saw OD getting banned out in the first phase or picked in the first phase, and all of a sudden, this guy's coming out in the end.
And Invoker is going to be the last pick. Well, it's going to be an SCOD facing off against a Feb Invoker. February, his name is Shade, actually, but they've transitioned all their names over into months of the year. Has been playing really impressively, and Invoker is one of his signature heroes. What do you think about that matchup in the mid lane, though? Is that heavily favored towards one side or the other?
It just comes back to the whole... Well, OD already kind of wins that matchup, I feel. It's just so annoying to deal with. You get Astral, nothing you can do for 4 seconds, right? And then on top of that, you have a Drow Aura. So I would say this heavily favors OD. I think CDC either has to like crush their other lanes, or they're going to have to come and help out the Invoker.
10
All right.
seconds
Well,
remaining.
time will tell. We will see CDEC facing off against Newbee. Grand
5
finals.
seconds
It's the
remaining.
best of 5 series. Shanghai Dota 2 Open Season 2. I'm excited to see how this ends up playing out because to me, these are wings. They're always going to be like top dogs, I think. They've been messing up a little bit in DPL, but people you know, they're quick to point to that as a fall off. I don't think that's necessarily the case. Wings were losing DPL games even before TI. It's just what they do because they don't really care. They mess around and do all sorts of crazy stuff. They try out a lot of new builds there, but still, these guys have been the top 2 teams not named Wings out of China for me this whole past season.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. Like I said, these 2 teams were the teams to look out for.
Well, as we get ready to head out, anything that you're really concerned about for either team? You already talked about the help rotations for the Invoker mid that you feel like they need to make. Do you think Enchantress is going to be able to get a lot done in the early stages of this game?
I think so. I mean, it's
30
Kaka, so
seconds
I have a
to
great confidence in his ability to make things happen. So if there's anyone to look out for, it's to see how... Oh, wait. No, I got that wrong. Kaka's playing Lion. Faith is the one who's playing Enchantress.
Weird. I was really thinking that it was a Kaka Enchantress too. That was like his signature hero pre-TI.
I mean, I feel like, regardless of who plays it, they're probably going to be moving around together a lot. So I think Newbee understand that they're going to have to play a little more aggressively in the early game as well. You can't really sit back and just wait, because once June has been like the star of the past series. He like single-handedly annihilated ehome, in my opinion. So he's probably just, feeling it right now, and you don't really want to let him get that kind of momentum.
Absolutely. And ET is going to come down here September. Another one of those supports that just always seems to be able to make so much happen with so little. Going to be playing his ET, and Kaka will do a little bit of making sure that range creep doesn't move too far forward, and they'll be able to deny out theirs. And Terran, what do you think is the goal of this off lane here? Are they trying to find kills onto U9, or is it just messing with them a little bit as far as disrupting their farm?
It's just helping June get a better start, because if he's by himself, it's way more difficult. I think the ET's presence here definitely allows him to get the levels he wants, at least 2 or 3. Once he gets those levels up, at least he can. It increases his chances of survival much more. So. All
right, and Kaka. Normally, a Lion is not going to be able to do the greatest job harassing and dealing with an aggressive dual lane, but with a little bit of help from the draw range aura, they might be able to do a bit more there. And already trading a couple of blows with September here. They also throw out one of the shockwaves from the creep and almost bringing September low. They might be able to find him with another Earth Spike that's back up in a couple of seconds. The positioning wars are very tenuous here in this lane.
It's a really rough lane for Newbee to fight against for the time being. Both of these melee heroes are pretty damn strong in the early phases. If he double astrals, you can't trade with him anymore because he does 80 damage or something, even with draw aura. Draw aura only gives you a couple damage at this level.
Well, in the meantime, Faith is up here just messing with October. The right clicks are coming through, and if they had another net, they might be able to find the kill. They
might get him still. The
troll is looking.
Follow him.
Oh my god. Do they find him? They juke this way, and he's just going to get right-clicked down. He's taking the damage in first blood, going the way of Faith. I haven't seen a first blood from one of those Dark Troll summoners in a while.
That tornado.
Yeah. Well, Faith making it work for the Enchantress early on. Nicely stunned.
Yeah, it seems like Kaka is the only one who can play Enchantress.
Well, how do you feel about this early start so far for Newbee? Do you think that they're getting what they want out of the lanes, as June is maybe going to go down? They are said turning over onto September and finding the kill. They do take him down.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I mean, this is exactly how Newbee wants to play it out. You just don't want to be passive by any means. You just want to do your best to disrupt the early game for CDEC and buy as much time as you can for your OD and the Drow Ranger to be able to fight in the mid game without having to worry too much about the global silence.
Yeah, Lion does also deny himself over there to some Ancients. You're seeing the rotation in from the Silencer to try and help out the Invoker in the mid lane, and it looks like they're going to get the cold snap off. The Enchantress rotation isn't going to come quickly enough, so SDO will have to back off from that. It was a little bit scary there, but didn't opt to throw out a Sunstrike.
Yeah, it seems like Newbee are just so far doing pretty good in all their lanes. I think this is kind of expected. I honestly didn't expect the Void to get this much, though. The Void is getting quite a lot for, you know, this matchup. I feel like Silencer is one of the better carries to deal with Void, but he's been dragged around by this Enchantress, and because of that, this KP's just getting a really, really good lane for himself right now.
Oh, and Kaka with the Arcane Rune as well, swipes it away from October there, throws out one of those Earth Spikes, and yeah, KP has definitely been having a good time. Level 5 now, and he actually ends up putting the 3rd point into Bash as well to see if he can find something against November here. This could be a kill if the Lifestealer is not careful. A very hard matchup. They're making it work, and yeah, an interesting start to this game. It looks like they're going to go for a Smoke Gank rotation, and there is a lot of Disable here, along with a couple more of the Enchantress Illusions. This is probably going to be a kill on September unless he reacts right away. And yeah, they're going to wrap around. They got the slows, they got the silences, they've got the Hex, everything that they could possibly want. And September does end up falling. Drow Ranger takes another one. U9 2-0 on the start.
All right, I think I kind of lied about that protecting your tower thing, because this is like the most opportune time to push the tower, and I don't think there's too much CDEC can do about it.
Oh man, this is actually a perfect collection of creeps too. The Centaur Conqueror is going to wear off, but this means that they've got the Toughness Aura, so bonus 3 armor, as well as all of those skeletons, and if they're not careful, as Faceless Void takes down the Lifestealer in the top lane. KP making it work. Newbee is just all over CDEC here.
Oh, September, he has to be careful.
Man, they've got the follow-up Hex too, and they're going to chase him down. They've got the net. September is dropping low and just trying to get the stomp off. Isn't going to get it. The Gust comes out from U9, and June is going to be able to finally rotate back in with the rotation from the Lifestealer too. It's too long of a TP. They can't find U9. They don't have another crush, but the Lifestealer's already backed off. 5-1. Newbee is just rolling through them.
I think that was still... if the Lifestealer didn't have the TP down there, it would have been pretty good for CDEC, because the Elder Tie-In was able to drag the creep wave all the way back, so they do manage to keep their tower because of that. But unfortunately, since the Lifestealer had the TP down here, it's kind of like a little bit of a waste of time for him, unfortunately.
And this early game for Newbee, 2,000 gold into their favor with around 1,700 experience. Are you that worried, though, if you're CDEC? Is this something where you can catch back up later as SC is going to get stomped? Oh, nice Astral to keep him alive for the moment. Or do you think that they're just going to end up being far behind the whole game as October is going to get ran down by KP? No great way to stop it. Just punches him in the dome again.
They have to be careful. If they let this get out of control, like, too far, there's actually very little way they can come back, I feel, because if you let this go out of control like this within the next 10 minutes or so, it doesn't matter what cooldowns you have, you're probably not going to be strong enough to kill people. Like, for every kill you get, you'll probably just lose 3 people, because everyone's going to be so over-leveled and out-geared.
Oh, Feb in the mid lane. The Invoker is going to start to drop, and SC is going to have the damage to find the kill. The turnaround stomp is going to be there, so Kaka, gets woken up by the Invoker. That now, all of a sudden, September out of mana, he's going to go down. Oh, man, that Forge Spirit woke up the Lion, which allowed him to back out before they could get into range for the kill. 8-1. Newbee are just looking so dominant.
Structures are fortified.
Yeah, this is looking super rough for CDEC, because the worst part about it now is that KP has won his offlane so hard that... Oh, hold that thought. He TP'd down. This might be another kill, honestly.
Oh, they're looking. They want to find June over to the sides of the Lifestealer. He had to TP out of there, and yeah, KP was going to make that rotation. It's... My God. Have mercy, Newbee.
But yeah, like I was saying, this top lane had gone so well for KP that unless they really, really commit a lot of heroes to whatever lane he's in, he's actually just able to transition as a core now. Like, he's not even an offlaner anymore. He can go the carry build, like the shadow build, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, he has the Ring of Health already online. There's maybe going to be a rotation here. June is Iron Talon jungling the Radiant jungle because they're being so heavily pressured. November is able to do a good amount up here in the top lane as well, but it looks like they are going to be able to find SC, and doesn't have an Astral for another second. Can he keep himself alive? No, isn't going to be there, but a nice stun comes in from Kaka. June is going to be punished. They do find that kill with the Enchantress. Faith on a killing spree, and man, even when they find one, it's so hard to even make anything of it. They slow down Feb. They're thinking about diving. They've got the rest of the side coming in. Chronosphere drops down onto the Invoker's head, and you said it. Anywhere that KP goes, they're finding kills.
This is looking so hard because you don't even have the main tool you need to turn these fights around, which is Global Silence. Your Silencer is only level 4. And it's coming up to 10 minutes, but even then, you know, you have your Global, but what else do you have?
Yeah. Well, and we've talked always about the problems with Slardar, and if you don't get a lot in the early stages, if that Blink Dagger is slowed down, the hero just feels so ineffectual. But meanwhile, Lifestealer just can even take away that one creep from him. Astral's the Hellbear Smasher, and every little play from Newbee is just destroying CDEC.
Yep.
Well, what's the movement here though? Like how do they pull this back? Is it just trying to buy time at this point?
Ooh, bottom lane. Oh, goodbye, September.
Oh god. All right, yeah, he's caught out. Crush. There's the catch again. Lion finds the kill.
Best part about it was he didn't even have to come in with the finger, so wherever Kaka goes next is a potential kill.
So what do you think now for CDEC? How do you make the comeback? What's the play?
They have to pretty much rely on the Slardar Lifestealer. Like they ran this earlier. They drafted it again because they feel like, you know what? It worked earlier, it should work again. But this isn't the kind of start that you want to have when you want to run, you know, this kind of lineup. Like you need the Blink Slardar. You need your Lifestealer to have something, and you know the Lifestealer just wasn't able to get as much as he could because KP was just dominating the offlane, and Slardar isn't quite there yet, you know. So if there's any way they're gonna come back, it has to be off of June and November.
Well, we'll see if they can make that happen. He's getting closer and closer to this Blink Dagger, and only a couple hundred gold away at this point. There's ways, like you're talking about, back into it for them, and maybe a smoke gank later on once they get that Blink Dagger online. Newbee are pressuring the towers pretty severely, and now, oh man, Invoker, he's jungling up on the cliff. I don't think they want to go for him. They're instead going to wrap around. If they kill June here, this is so awful for them, and I don't know if he spots them coming. The wraparound is going to be there. Kaka comes from one side, SC on the other. June sandwiched and brought down again by the Lion. And just like that, more gold out of his coffers. And KP, I don't think he's going to get punished here. He can time walk to the low ground. Has his Vanguard completed. It might be Radiance time soon. We haven't seen that build in a while.
That is true. I mean, I think that build would be pretty good here. I mean, he's so far ahead anyways. But man, that sucks so much for CDEC. Like, I was just talking about how they need the Slardar for this comeback, and he just died again when he was so close to his Blink Dagger.
CDEC have 2 kills. They're both on the Lion, and even still, he's going to get his Blink Dagger before Slardar does. Like, this game is just... do you feel like this was a drafting that's allowed Newbee to get off to this lead, or do you think that it was just the outplay coming in? Oh man, KP looking. They have a Chronosphere ready, and he could just jump onto these 2 right now if he wants to. September. Oh, he's gonna at least just cut the creep wave.
I don't think it was like a huge drafting thing. Like I said, it worked earlier. It's just that Newbee are on top of things. They most definitely saw the series before this one, and they saw the exact heroes. I'm almost 100% certain they're just like, guys, we know how to deal with this. We're just gonna pick the Drow and we'll beat it. And the rotations from Kaka and Faith just make the early game so much easier for them.
This is a nice bit of luck here. They have an Invis rune on June, so I don't think that Newbee will be expecting this. If they can find a good initiation here, this feels to me like the best opportunity for them to take a fight.
Definitely. They need the combo everything together. This is it. Oh my god, that's so
Oh no,
my
they drop a sentry! Oh god, the global comes out and they are going to be able to turn this back around. SC is going to drop, so something going their way, but 3 people Chrono on the other side. KP doesn't have enough damage. The rest of the side of Newbee isn't with them. Faith, meanwhile, is going to be running away from them, and they're going to be able to right-click down November. I think that he is going to drop Finger of Death, finally used by Kaka. Oh, what bad luck. They were looking for the perfect initiation. They dropped the sentry.
You know, I wouldn't even chalk it up to luck. I feel like those are one of the moments as like a really high level player. You're just like, guys, this seems a little too strange. No one's on the map, and it's just way too quiet. Like, there's no way they should be letting us take this tower. It's a really bad move on their end. And, you know, they're just that instinct. You know, like they probably have an Invis and just drop the sentry.
Man, Newbee just on another level, and they are going to be able to take down this tower, I believe. They killed off the OD, so something going back into their favor at the very least. Oh, as Invoker gets the deny, nicely done. Is that a place to build from for CDEC?
Oh, wait, hold that thought. Are they going to catch out ET?
Oh, man. KP? I doesn't want to overextend.
I mean, luckily for them, at least they got an OD kill out of it. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's just an OD kill. They're going to need a lot more than that. Slardar does have his Blink Dagger, so they just need to be a little more... They just need to be patient now. Now that they have that Blink Crush set up, they absolutely need to have Global, just in case.
Oh, God. And right now, they just got all the vision in the world. They spot out where the Lifestealer is. November is going to get caught out for the moment. There's the Stomp, but, man, silenced as well. November in some trouble trying to armlet toggle just to stay alive, and they are going to be able to walk away from that one. The Slardar Crush Blink reveal was able to save their Lifestealer. But that just means it's potentially time for Roshan if Newbee want to go for it. They don't want to chance it.
Might not be enough damage on Newbee. They probably feel like they don't have to risk anything right now, and they have the Roshan warded pretty heavily for themselves too. So I don't think they're too worried about CDEC taking Roshan for themselves.
Yeah. And October, brown boots and a ironwood branch. This is the poverty life for the silencer. Man. What a tough game for CDEC. And at any point in time, like, they could just get the initiation from KP, find a Chronosphere, and drop a hell of a lot of damage into it as well. Void is actually going...
Oh, that thought.
Oh, jump, possibly. Faith, they don't hit the crush. He's out of there. Jump forward. Chronosphere connects on a 3. Oh, CDEC, say it ain't so. November is dropping low. The Rage was able to get off for him, but now he's going to be controlled and probably killed off. KP is just going to be a bully over here to the silencer. Bash him, why don't you? Killing spree on the Faceless Void. 16-3. Oh, no.
Man, nothing is going CDEC's way. They were just hoping to find a pick off with the global silence. They're going for that combo with the crush into a global, but unfortunately for June, he misses the crush, and it just so happens all of Newbee realize, no one should be picked up, and they're just all there. And KP hits a godlike chrono, and you lose everyone with nothing going your way.
That chrono was so beautiful. They're going to now throw out another Earth Splitter with the global, and they actually jump in, but yeah, KP picked up the Aegis, didn't end up getting hit by that stomp. Now the turnaround, June's just gone. They drop a meteor in, but man, Kaka is about to potentially just kill off Feb. Jumps forward, there's going to be the Hex. He still has Finger if he wants to go for it. Sucks out the mana first, and the Earth Splitter coming through. Feb is gone. They get another pretty good crush coming in from September just to try and keep alive their Invoker, but the stomp was not enough. Diffusal Blade on Void. You've got the Midas drums, and now gonna have a Force Staff completed for OD.
Newbee are just so damn strong already. It's only 18 minutes into the game, and they're just so in control right now.
Yeah. Aegis on Void. I mean, it might even be worth it for him just to walk up there and refill his mana by dying. Like, that's how little they care about what CDEC are doing to them here.
Nah, he has an OD.
All right.
You can just keep spamming your time walk and hope for the proc.
Oh,
and get
crush on the back line, though. They found SC. Oh, he gets the Astral off. He's going to be fine. November getting bashed and starting to drop Sunstrike. He shares it with Faith, and they're not going to die. Lion, in the meantime, killed off the Lifestealer. Finger of Death used. Chronosphere about to be off cooldown. Can he get a proc from his time walk? If he can, then they can drop the Chronosphere onto their head. He's gone, though, so they do find that kill, but it's only the Aegis. Can CDEC find anything else? Is KP going to go for it? They throw that the amp damage, and he's going to be silenced for the last word, so still nothing, but the counter initiation play comes out. There's a jump forward. Chronosphere only connects onto one, but I think it's enough. October's gone. Global's already down. Wicked 6 streak, and a tier 3 tower going to fall at around 19 minutes. What a disaster.
They could still do this.
Oh,
my god.
Oh no, it's all gone wrong. Stick a fork in him. CDEC are done. September is going to get bashed and brought down. Diffusal Blade out as well. That's going to be a Barracks going down. U9, he just, excuse me, November just wants to make anything happen, but the bashes keep coming from KP, and now with jump forward, they're going to be able to try and get away. He lumped inside of the Lifestealer, but silence now. They don't even get the stomp off, and trying to ghost walk away. Monster kill streak for U9. KP not going to die. He time walks off the damage. The Barracks are still going down 22-3. It ends on the most appropriate of scores. Newbee dominance.
That was that was like incredible play from Kaka. He just knew, like, you know what? This Slardar is gonna go for it. That's their only chance. I'm just gonna hex him right now, and you know, you precast it. Nothing you can do about it because it's daytime. He has full vision on him, no smoke, like utter dominance.
Man, and Newbee. Time to think about banning out some Drow. That was a spanking. CDEC just got destroyed. You look at the graph, they just never looked back from the start. What do you change up in this next game? Like, is there anything that you can really do?
I think you definitely do start by banning out the Drow. I mean, it is a best of 5, and you know, like I said, you came off of a win against the Drow, and you handled it like very appropriately. And since it's a best of 5, I think it's okay just to feel it out. You need to kind of understand whether or not you should or shouldn't play against it. And I think this kind of lets them know, okay, you know, that experiment's over with. Let's just get rid of it.
Well, ladies and gents, this is game number 1. Keep in mind that CDEC did take a game off of Newbee in their previous series. So, I mean, a Drow Ranger lineup, when it wins really hard like this, it looks bad, but I think that they can still pull it back. We'll see what happens in game number 2. Stick around, everybody. The Shanghai Dota 2 Open is going to be continuing right after this.